I'm actually probably, outside of John there, I'm probably the oldest guy here. Just seen you. Sorry. But he has a young face and I'm not blessed with a young face. And it's weird being the oldest guy in a room because in my head I'm not old. In my head I'm still, if Muhammad Ali came in, I'd be ready to... Now he's dead, so it'd be an easy fight for me. Mike Tyson I'd have to think about. But, you know, you always feel young. But Dominic, he had an interesting point about what makes you Irish. And I'm just going to ask this lady here. You're from Limerick. Do you consider yourself Irish?
Yes.
What decade were you born in?
The 80s.
The 80s. You see, to me, you're not Irish, you're new Irish. You're not really Irish, unless you were educated by nuns that were rejected by the Nazis because their views were extreme. See, I'm a child of the 60s. 1968, the summer of love all over the world. The decade of lovelessness in Ireland. For those of you that, by the way, if you're not laughing, it's a history lesson. If you are laughing, I'm one of the competitors. 1960s. We had one television channel in Ireland. And for the first 30 years of that television channel, they never showed a single nipple, not even on a wildlife documentary. I think nipples were covered by the Official Secrets Acts. And we knew nothing about feelings, which meant you hit puberty and there were changes happening in your body. You had no idea what was going on. I mean, you'd hit 13 or 14 and a good-looking woman would walk by and boing, there'd be a party in your pants. And then an elderly neighbour that was friends with your grandmother would walk by and boing, there'd be a party in your pants. I apologise, that's just the way biology works. A shapely heifer would walk by. Boing, there'd be a party in your pants. And you didn't know what was happening. I tell you, I was so ignorant. When I hit about 15, I had my first wet dream. I was so embarrassed, I thought my periods had started. I get sympathy from some of the women here. Yeah, it's a tough time. But that's how innocent we were growing up in Ireland. I remember when my uncle died, and I went to the funeral, and I wasn't from a particularly big family, but there wasn't enough room for me in the chief car, so I was put about 2 cars back, and it was an attractive cousin that was driving the car. Now, in my defence, she was wearing a dress that was not appropriate for the funeral, and we were travelling over country roads that bumped a lot. And we got to the graveyard, and I couldn't get out of the car. The fellas will understand why. And all the people were saying, oh, Tony must have been very close to his uncle, see how upset he is, he can't get out of the car. If I got out of the car, I could have pole vaulted to the graveside. But eventually, even an innocent like myself, growing up in the country, we learned the facts of life, and I got a girlfriend, and things were going well, and we'd been going steady for about 6 months. And I'll tell you how fast things were progressing. We'd already moved to the hand-holding stage. Ooh, it was moving fast. I was a player. And I was about 23 or 4, and I was working for the Limerick Leader, the local paper here, and I was sent over to Amsterdam on a press junket. And let me tell you, for an innocent man, you can do a lot of growing up in Amsterdam very fast. I arrived in Amsterdam. The first thing I did was I bought a box of condoms, just in case things progressed back in Ireland. Now, for context, those of you above a certain age will remember, condoms were actually illegal in Ireland up until about 2000. Absolutely illegal, you could be jailed. And I felt like a real man. I had this box of condoms. I was so proud of myself. That was Monday. Tuesday, I thought, this is fantastic. I'll go home. You'd never know, another year or two that I might use these. Wednesday, I'm still feeling great. Thursday, I'm a couple of days away from my flight and I'm beginning to feel a little nervous. Friday, I'm in an absolute panic. Saturday, I'm flying home. I'm in a sweat. I thought, what am I going to do? Box of condoms. I can't bring that home. So I did the only sensible thing I could think of. I went into the red light district. Now, with hindsight, there's an awful lot of things you do in the red light district of Amsterdam with a box of condoms. What I did was I went into one of the coffee shops. You know the sort of coffee shops I'm talking about, the sort of coffee shops that don't sell coffee. And I bought a half a kilo of hash. I took out the condoms and I stuffed them with hash and I packed my suitcase. And I thought, if I'm stopped by customs, at least I'm going to be done as a drug dealer, not as a sex pervert. Yeah. You can thank the nuns for that level of ignorance. And then, of course, I got married and we had the pre-marriage course. That was a blast. A group of celibate men explaining the whole sexual revolution to you. But what I'll never forget is the rhythm method was explained to us. And for those of you that are not of a technical bent, I can sum up what we were told about the rhythm method. In, out, in, come and conceive. The thing about the rhythm method is 100% effective as long as you're prepared to accept 3 or 4 children more than you planned for. And that's how it works, and it's absolutely brilliant. And now you know you don't need to do a pre-marriage course. You can go and fornicate away, you know how to keep safe. And the other acceptable method of contraception back then was the ring method. Once the second ring went on her finger, you could start messing around. I did get married. The marriage didn't really hold. The problems arose on the honeymoon. I wanted to go to Greece. She wanted to come with me. But I'm going to leave you on a final thought. And this is the moment, if I was Tommy Tiernan, I'd have a kind of a twinkle in my eye and you'd know something controversial was going to happen. Or if I was your man, what's his name, Carr, I would announce that this is the one that's going to go over the line. Ladies, I know a lot of you have cherished opinions and a lot of you put slogans on t-shirts. That presents us men with a problem. You see, if you have a slogan on your t-shirt and you really believe in it, I have 2 choices. I'm going to look at you, not at her, because I'd be a creep if I look at her. I can look you in the eye and ignore the message, in which case I'm a chauvinist pig. Or I can read the message, in which case I'm a worse form of chauvinist pig. So ladies, you can do us all a solid favour here. If you really believe something, put it in Braille. I can look you in the eye and still get the message. Thanks a lot, guys. You've been a great audience.